Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it happens to be your very first time here. My name is Troy, and today I'm going to share with you 5 dividend stocks that you must know about going into next week. Now you might be asking, what's the importance with next week? Well, every single stock in today's video is going to have an ex-dividend date of next week, which means you're going to get paid from all these companies sooner rather than later. Now it is very important that you watch these videos when I put them out, which is every single Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, because if you watch them and find any of these stocks that are right for your portfolio, you'll be able to buy them because some of the stocks have ex-dividend dates as soon as Monday of next week, which means if you buy it on that day, you've already missed your chance and you'll have to wait 3 long months before your next dividend.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into number 5 on this week's list, which is Old Dominion Freight Line, stock ticker ODFL. Including today's video, this is now the 9th time I've spoken about this stock right here on the channel, including 9 selections in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about this one, on February 24th of 2023, ODFL is massively underperforming over the short term. So let's see if we can find the issue by looking at these numbers to see if it's a long-term concern. ODFL is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $1.12 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.62%. ODFL has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 9 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 37.51%. A 5-year dividend growth rate of 35.63%, and it is sustainable because their payout ratio is sitting at just 16.78%. Now, at the time of recording, ODFL was trading 22.66% off of their 52-week high, which leads to that massive underperformance I talked about earlier. They have an ex-dividend date of March 5th with a payout date of March 19th. And looking at this chart, over the past 10 years, a single lump sum $10,000 investment, while only reinvesting the dividends they gave you in return, would have been grown into $71,837.44 with ODFL, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $38,000.44 over the same 10 years. Next up, coming in at number 4 on this week's list is Arthur J. Gallagher, stock ticker AJG. Now, despite this stock sounding like a British knight, this is the very first time I'm talking about this stock right here on my channel, so let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about this company. AJG is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $2.60 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.8%. AJG has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 15 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate a little bit lower than I like at 7.73%, a 5-year dividend growth rate a little bit lower than that at 6.89%, both of which still outpace inflation by a lot, so we are good there. Like I said, it's just a little bit lower than I like, but they are both sustainable because their payout ratio is just 19.3%. Now, at the time of recording, Arthur J. Gallagher was only trading 1.23% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of March 7th with a payout date of March 21st. And looking at this chart over the past 10 years, AJG would have grown their $10,000 into $82,722.60, which outperforms the S&P 500 by $48,885.60. Next up, first one on the podium and coming in at number 3 on this week's list is Hluhan Low Key, stock ticker HLI. Including today's video, this is now the 4th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, and it's earned 3 selections in a row. But if you go back to the first time I ever spoke about it, which was August 26th of 2022, HLI is crushing the S&P 500 over the short term, and that tells the case for the long term as well, which we'll dive into right here. HLI is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $2.28 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.33%. HLI has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 10 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11.74%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 13.5%, and a payout ratio at 27.62%. Now, at the time of recording, Hluhan Low Key was trading 10.86% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of March 3rd with a payout date of March 15th. And looking here at this chart, over the past 9.53 years, so almost 10 years, but not quite, HLI would have grown that $10,000 into $93,695.62, which outperforms the S&P 500 by $59,768.94 over the same time frame. With that being said, we're a little bit over halfway through this week's video. If you guys haven't already, please help me out by leaving a like on the video. It's free to you and helps me out a lot. And if you really want to help me out, still free to you, use the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think of this week's list, if you guys own any of the stocks on the list, or you can just say hi down there. Use that comment section down below. But now let's get to number 2. Next up on this week's list is definitely the tastiest stock on this week's list. Coming in at number 2 is Wingstop, stock ticker WING. Including today's video, this is now the 5th time I've spoken about this stock, and they've earned 4 selections in a row. And if you go back to the first time I spoke about this stock on March 3rd of 2023, Wingstop is underperforming the S&P 500 over this short time frame, and you're going to easily see why with this right here. Wingstop is a quarterly payer in the consumer discretionary sector, paying $1.08 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.46%. Wingstop has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 8 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 16.49%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 19.63%, and a payout ratio of 22%. Now, at the time of recording, Wingstop was trading 46.06% off of their 52-week high, which is what I was alluding to earlier. I'm really curious what caused that big of a drop, so let me know in the comments down below if you find that out. But their ex-dividend date is on March 7th, and their payout date is on March 28th. And looking at this chart, this one's 9.7 years worth of history. Wingstop would have turned that $10,000, including that huge massive drop we just talked about, into $106,784.32, which outperforms the S&P 500 by $72,902.16 in the same time frame. Next up, the stock you must know about going into next week, coming in at number 1, is Lam Research, stock ticker LRCX. Including today's video, this is now the 10th time I've talked about this stock right here on my channel, including 8 selections in a row, mind you. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about it, which was September 9th of 2022, LRCX is nearly doubling the return from the S&P 500 just over this short time frame, and you're going to see that's pretty much the norm when we look at these numbers. LRCX is a quarterly payer in the technology sector, paying 92 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.07%. LRCX has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 11 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 15.38%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 13.84%, and a payout ratio of 23.71%. Now, at the time of recording, this great company was trading 23.88% off of their 52-week high, possibly an opportunity here. They have an ex-dividend date of March 5th with a payout date of April 9th. And if you look at this chart over the past 10 years, you can see that the dips in this one are almost always opportunities. LRCX over the past 10 years would have grown their $10,000 investment into $119,437.92, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $85,600.92. If you guys made it here to the end of the video, first of all, thank you guys so much for watching, but keep in mind we do have that deadline of about March 3rd for most of the stocks in this video. So if you guys want to make sure you guys have opportunities to review these stocks for possible additions into your portfolio, probably be in your best interest to make sure you guys are subscribed with the bell rung, and YouTube will let you know when these videos come out. With that being said, you for sure already missed the ex-dividend date for every stock I mentioned in last week's video, but if you're in the market for 5 more high-quality dividend stocks to see if any of them possibly fit into your portfolio, you can check that out right here. But until next time, see ya.